how to lower your blood pressure with no medication at all. In this video, I'm going to give you all the details that you need to know. Now, I have been in practice for over 25 years. I'm going to give you realistic advice that you can use. Nothing is crazy here. Nothing is out of the ordinary. This is all supported by research as well. So you can be assured that this is not just some YouTube guy spouting off stuff that makes no sense or seems unrealistic. So keep that in mind. This does work, but you have to put the work in. If you want to have a normal blood pressure without medication, the reason you're probably watching this is because you probably went to the doctor, have been told you need medication, and the doctor didn't mention much as to what to do at home. Well, that's where this video comes in. It's going to give you an outline. So get a piece of paper, get a pen, because let's dive into it and let's go into number one. Number one is going to be the diet. There are many controversies over what constitutes a good diet. You have many extremes on both sides. You have people way over here saying that you should go totally plant-based, vegan, OMAD, so you only eat once a day, plant-based, all plants, and you should never eat anything that came from an animal and no oils whatsoever. Then you have people over here that I'm going to classify as the people that want you to eat just a steak once a day, that type of thing. Everybody's into the one time a day eating because that seems to be the most popular thing. When it comes to research, most of the best research regarding diet has been on the Mediterranean diet when it comes to cardiovascular disease. Cardiovascular disease meaning the heart and the blood vessels, and that's what we're talking about here. We're talking about high blood pressure. So if you want to know what's the most researched type of diet, it would be the Mediterranean diet. Now the problem is that you've got all these different camps trying to tell you that they're right, and some of them are pretty convincing. In some cases, they will cite research, and then the other people will cite research that's almost exact opposite. So how can this be? Well, let me make this very easy to understand why all the diets work. No matter what the diet, whether you're in the middle, over here, or over here, most of these diets work because you're omitting crappy food. There is no diet that says you should eat donuts and pasta and cakes and coffee. They just don't do that. No matter what diet you're on now, you could probably clean it up a little bit, but if you want to know what the diet is, Mediterranean diet. Now, what does that actually mean? It means the majority of the food that you eat is plants. Plants meaning vegetables. You can eat fruits. You can eat fish. You can eat different things like that, and you're allowed to eat animal products. You're allowed to eat vegetables. You're allowed to eat fruits. You're allowed to have a little bit of wine. These are things that in moderation means you don't eat too much of it. That's really what moderation means. And that is something that you can do. Now, there are some specific things that you can do to add to this diet that would help with your blood pressure. And what you can do is you can take a little shot glass, and you're not going to put alcohol in it. You're going to put beetroot juice. And beetroot juice has been shown to reduce your blood pressure within 3 hours and can literally last an entire day. So beets are something that you can do. Now, if you're diabetic, that's a different story. But beetroot juice is something that can significantly lower your blood pressure. And so you should add beets to your diet if you can. Spinach is another one. Because they have nitrates, they actually our body produces more nitric oxide, which is a gas that dilates our blood vessels. Very, very beneficial when it comes to lowering your blood pressure. And I will leave the randomized double-blind clinical trial where it's going to be in the reference material down below. You can read it, that the systolic and diastolic numbers go down if people have a simple shot of beetroot juice. Number two, we need to discuss whether you're going to exercise or not. The biggest challenge with exercise is most people just simply don't like it. They don't like going to gyms, or they don't like exercise in general. Well, if you're going to exercise, you're going to have to decide what type of exercise. And this is where the controversy comes in, because, again, anybody on YouTube can make a video, and you have the two extremists. And you'll hear a lot about HIIT training, and you just don't know what the heck that means. And it sounds like torture. It's high intensity interval training, and people say that's good for you. The research says that mild cardiovascular exercise that raises your heart rate and that you can sustain for a period of time is the best for high blood pressure. Sure, HIIT training is great. It builds a lot of muscle, but if you already have high blood pressure, the last thing that you want to do is significantly raise your systolic numbers if you're not a person that exercises a lot. So these are my suggestions for patients who do not exercise at all. Every day at the same time, 7 days a week, simply get out of your house and walk that way for 2 minutes. You see, if I tell people to walk for 4 minutes, it seems like a long time. So I just tell them 2 minutes. And then I say, well, you already got that far. You have to turn around. Just come home. So it just, in your mind, it just seems like a little less. So you walk that way for 2 minutes, come back, take a shower, go to work, go about your day. As time goes on, you're going to start to get in better shape and realize that 2 minutes is doable. Why don't you walk 3 minutes that way? And you could set your goals for a little bit more every couple weeks. Pretty soon, before you know it, you're walking an hour a day. Wouldn't that be awesome? If you walked an hour a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year, imagine what that would do for your health. You'd be in incredible shape. Now, I realize that everyone's going to come up with excuses as to why they cannot do that. That's totally okay. Maybe one day you walk 10 minutes, the next day you walk an hour. The following day you walk 20 minutes. But the goal would be to do 1 hour a day. There's a benefit to doing this exercise. The exercise where you just go and walk at a brisk pace, raise your heart rate a little bit, and sustain it for a period of time, is the benefits of exercise are that it calms your brain and nervous system down. It stimulates your parasympathetic nervous system, which helps dilate your blood vessels. And the real true benefit of exercise is that it can lower your blood pressure, and it can lower it for 24 hours after you have done the exercise. So by doing it every day, you're getting a long-term benefit as well as strengthening your cardiovascular system. The third and final thing that needs to be discussed are your stress levels. And I have numerous patients that were law enforcement officers, firefighters, people in very stressful careers. A lot of them, by the time they get to my age, have already had stents put in their heart. And it's scary. It really is scary. Stress plays a major role, in my humble opinion, but stress plays a major role in cardiovascular health. Now, there is some research to support this. However, it's controversial because how does one measure stress? I mean, when you think about it, it's easy to measure your cholesterol, your blood sugar, your blood pressure. We cannot see stress. You can't take an X-ray, you can't do an MRI. There's not a lot of ways that you can measure stress. But is there? How much cortisol is in your blood? And that, in theory, could be measured, but you can't be having a blood test every day to measure your stress levels. Stress in our life will stimulate our adrenal gland to secrete cortisol. And cortisol has some very good effects short term, but when it's in our body long term, it can be very detrimental. Cortisol will raise our blood sugar, raise our heart rate, and increase our blood pressure. So changing your diet may actually be stressful to you. Starting to work out actually has some benefits on our adrenal gland, but for some people, trying to get an exercise program going is stressful. But how can you reduce stress? Well, there's a number of ways. There are breathing methods, and I'm going to put a link at the end of this video. Watch for it. There's going to be a box somewhere at the bottom, whether it's on this corner or this corner, I don't know yet, I haven't edited the video. on how to do proper breathing to reduce your stress. It takes 5 minutes a day. If you have a desk job, you could sit at your desk and do it very quietly. There's a lot of confusion over that video, by the way, of people thinking that you're hyperventilating. No, don't hyperventilate. Breathe deep, breathe slow, and just let it go. It's 5 minutes of breathing that you do every single day. To me, it's like brushing your teeth. If you brush your teeth every single day, it has only temporary benefits because the next day or after you eat, you're going to have dirty teeth again, right? But if you brush your teeth every day over a long period of time, you will benefit by having healthy teeth. Deep breathing is exactly the same way. If you breathe every day, you can lower your blood pressure temporarily. However, by doing it every day, just like brushing your teeth, you will help your stress levels in the long run. You could put your feet in some nice warm water with some Epsom salts for 5 minutes. You can take a couple minutes per day to go on YouTube and find your favorite comedian and find a joke that you think is funny. Laughing out loud, just faking a smile and smiling all day can make a tremendous difference in our stress levels. So if you are really serious and you want to get off medications, you've been to your doctor, they told you had high blood pressure, and you don't want to take medications for the rest of your life, you need to put the work in, but I can tell you it is absolutely worth it. There are many natural means, and quite frankly, a lot of doctors just don't have the time to explain this in a normal office setting. So get to work, start doing it, and let me know over time. Come back to this video and let me know in the comment section if this type of information has helped you. I really put this information out to help other people and to give a no-nonsense approach to fixing these problems. So let me know if this stuff helps you. If you don't agree with it, give me a thumbs down. If you do agree with it, thumbs up, and I will see you on the next video.